Hello everybody, one and all. This is your one and only Warrior Dan here, and today we are looking at Life is Strange. Life is Strange is a 5-part episodic game developed by DontNod Entertainment and published by Square Enix. Life is Strange centers around the life of protagonist Max Caulfield, a very normal teenage girl attending and living at Blackwell Academy, a very prestigious private high school, specializing in arts and science. The adventure begins one day when Max discovers he has the unique ability to manipulate and control time, and uses this newfound ability to rewind time in order to save the life of her long-lost childhood friend, Chloe Price. And the two begin on an emotional journey that will blossom and evolve over the course of the game. The story focuses mainly on this relationship between Max and Chloe, and thanks to the really wonderful, authentic voice acting as well as the amazing character design, I can't think of a single game whose characters have felt as real to me as Max and Chloe do here. The story includes strong themes of change, love, friendship, loss, responsibility, and consequence. I laughed alongside the characters, and I'll admit it, I cried once or twice at some really sad moments that had a lot of emotional weight to it. The story manages to capture the true emotion of each character in a scene that feels natural and believable to the viewer. While the plot remains engaging at every turn, the magic truly lies with the script's wonderful treatment of characterization, or in other words, establishing memorable, well-rounded characters. The whole world feels very grounded. While there are some superhero and sci-fi elements to it, the bulk of the game's story is based firmly around the vivid interactions between characters, and accordingly, the very realistic relationships between said characters. Life is Strange offers an engrossing dialogue system with multiple branching choices, giving you, the player, a lot of control over how the story plays out, both in the short term and over the long term as well. The story is what you make of it. While there are several moments in the story that are just simply unavoidable, these are outweighed by the amount of choices that you can make, that you can have an impact on. You always get the feeling that what you do in any given moment does matter. Depending on your choices, you could save someone's life, or, consequently, cost them their life. You can become someone's friend, or make them your enemy. There will be some choices that will shake you to the core and will make you question if you're really doing the right thing. And then there are other choices that will reassure you that you're on the correct path. It's really just a very interesting game in that way. I've played many games similar to this, such as Telltale's Game of Thrones game, which revolves heavily around choice. However, Game of Thrones never really was able to capture my attention in the same way that Life is Strange has. And I think I can explain why. Between the strong characterization, the multiple branching choices, and everything, it's such an amazing world. I can't put enough emphasis on that. I'm sorry if I feel I'm repeating myself, but I wanted to make this point clear. I came into this game knowing nothing about Life is Strange. I knew nothing about the characters. I'd maybe seen a quick few gameplays of it on YouTube, but I knew next to nothing about it, and I fell in love with this world. Max Caulfield feels like a representation of myself, and we'll talk about representation in video games in another video. I do want to do a discussion video on that, but today I'll just say I could totally relate to Max as she made her choices throughout the game. The pressure of the choices that she would have to make, it all felt very real to me, and I don't think a lot of games manage to really capture that relatability, and I give Life is Strange a lot of credit here. It does have its flaws. I think there's points in the story that don't make any sense, but I do love the characters. And I think when you're making a game like this, you have to fall in love with the characters, and Life is Strange definitely succeeds there. I have fallen in love with the characters. It's been about 2 weeks since I finished playing Life is Strange, and every single day since then, I've not been able to stop thinking about it, whether it's the music, whether it's a particular line from the game that catches my attention. At some point every day, I keep reverting back in my head to Life is Strange. There's only one other game I've ever remembered playing that has done this, and I know this is kind of a goofy one. Marvel Ultimate Alliance, back in 2005, I want to say. I could be wrong. I believe it was 2005. It was such an amazing game. I played it so many times. It was a RPG set in the Marvel Comics universe, and I played it for hours and hours and hours. I think I built up close to 50 hours in that game alone, and I just couldn't get it out of my head. It was just such an experience. The world was amazing. The characters were fun. It was a world I'd want to jump into again, and Life is Strange has managed to replicate that feeling for me years and years later. It's been several years. It's been over a decade since I've had an experience like this, and I cannot thank DontNod enough for giving me that experience of fulfillment, and also wanting more from a studio. I should want that from every game I play, but so few games are able to really capture my attention in this regard. Moving on. Some of the game's biggest strengths, aside from what I've already mentioned, is its phenomenal script and its voice acting, combined with a beautifully arranged soundtrack, combining its own original music alongside existing licensed songs, altogether creating one of the most memorable gaming experiences I've ever known. I can't say enough about the wonderful top-notch music here. The music featured in-game not only adds to the experience, but is a wonderful experience in its own right. And it's a shame that the full soundtrack is not available in the stores, because I would buy the soundtrack the minute it hits store shelves. It is that lovable. While there are some odd technical glitches here and there I would gripe about, Overall, I can't think of a single thing that would really impact my experience with Life is Strange. Without delving into spoiler territory, Life is Strange delivers an amazingly detailed world with very relatable characters you can't help but love or hate, depending on their character. Everyone has a reason for being who they are, and if you take the time to get to know them, you may learn a thing or two about them that will surprise you. If you love a good story with interesting characters in a captivating world, you will not run short of things to love about Life is Strange. It's a game I could easily see being remembered for years and years to come, and being regarded as a shining example in its own genre of excellent storytelling against which similar games in the future will be compared. My final score for Life is Strange is a 10 out of 10, and that is a score that is definitely well deserved. If you're curious to hear my full spoiler-filled opinions on the game, I do plan on releasing a separate video on that very soon, but for now, that wraps up my thoughts here on this episode. What do you think of Life is Strange? Is this a game you'd be interested in checking out yourself, or does it not really strike your fancy? Either way, please do let me know in the comments below. I'll be curious to hear your thoughts. For now, this is Warrior Dan signing out, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.